Hello and welcome to Botanic. This is a series where we follow an intentional spinning project from fluff to finished object. We pick a pattern and then we see it all the way through in one episode right to finished object. The pattern I've picked for this episode is the Botanic shawl by Stephen West. It is a really beautiful, large, oversized shawl. It looks basically like it's garter. It's two colours, but you've got these like slip stitch designs on it so that it has this sort of geometric interest to it. I just think it's really beautiful. And yeah, so we've got two colours. We need 200 grams of each colour, and I'm going to be spinning a traditional 2-ply in a plain colour, and then I'm going to do like a pick and mix spin. So let's get to fibre prep. So what am I going to be spinning for this? So for the main colour, I'm going to be spinning this top by woolyknit. I have 200 grams of this and it's 100% wool and it's just a combed top. So this will be spun as a traditional 2-ply, end to end, no fibre prep necessary. So that's going to be the main colour, that lovely dark green. For the contrast colour, I'll be using some fibre that if you've seen this series before, you may recognise. This is a pack of little fibre bumps. I think they're all 25 grams, and this is from World of Wool. So you buy this as a mixed bag and you get 10 25-gram bumps of merino fibre, all in colours that are designed to go together. Now, this is a bit fuller than it normally is because I've also popped in some other colours. So I used this fibre pack in the first ever episode of Botanic to make these, the oak hollow mitts. And when I came to editing that episode, I'd actually lost the footage from the beginning of me showing the fibre preparation, which is kind of an important part of the Botanic episode. And so I ended up having to purchase another pack of these little fibre bumps. However, I did find that footage, so these are all pretty much as they were, and also I have the doubles in of the fibre that I didn't use for the mitts, so there's a few that are doubles. So I've got more than 250 grams of fibre here, and I'm going to use this with this as the main colour as my contrast colour. So what I'm planning on doing is splitting every single one of these in half. So I'm just going to fold them in half and split them in half. When they're all in half, what I'm going to do is to break them down further into random bits. That way, when I ply these two together, I'm going to have yarn that, colours that are completely different in that 2-ply, which will hopefully give me something similar to what the Zaba ball is, but I want to do it completely randomly. So I'm going to split them, and then they're going to go into 2 bags, and as I'm spinning, I will just pull out at random. It doesn't matter if I end up pulling out 2 of the same colour, I will just randomly pull out and spin as they come. So that's the plan. Let's get on to fibre prep. So now I've split the fibre just in half, and this is half of that pack of fibre. What I'm now going to do is split it further into little bits. So this is a really fun way of making your own sort of custom blends rather than like buying like a hand painted braid or something. If you have dyed merino or dyed tops in your stash, you can make multicolored yarns without having to get a hand painted skein. And also you do have some control. I am going to be very random with these, but you do have a little bit of control. I'm nearly there. Last one. That is my massive bundle of little knots of fibre. They are fantastically fun. And I am going to pop those all back in the World of Wool bag as randomly as possible. Now, as I'm spinning these, I will probably blend them a bit as well, and I may break off and do even smaller bits if I feel that these are getting a bit too big. And on the second ply, which I haven't broken up the second ply yet because I don't know if I'm going to want that ply to be in slightly longer bits to make it a bit more of like a fractal spin, or if I'm going to do something very similar. But I will cross that bridge when I get to it. Yeah. All these lovely nuggets of fibre. It's just going to be such a fun spin. I am coming to the end of the second bobbin. But as you can probably see when you look at the first bobbin, there's a bit of a disparity, hello cow, between how much is on each one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this fibre off, just pull it, oh it doesn't want, it broke weirdly, and change this bobbin back to the first one, and then I'm going to put the last bit on the first one, just because if I don't, I'm going to end up either having to ply the last bit with a centre pull ball or doing a bracelet ply, and it's going to be a lot of yarn. And I don't really think I'm going to be short on yardage. Stephen West always includes, you know, he gives a generous amount, which is good. Yes, Cal? How can we help you? Cal? I think it's cat tea time. So I've finished the greens. I should probably ply them fairly soon and give them a little bit of time to rest. And now it's time for the fun part. So I've decanted the first half of minis, which you now can't see because Jax is sat in front of them. Jax, come on. Into a lovely glass jar, just for the pure joy of it. And we'll set up. I'm going to continue to use Joyce, and she's set up in exactly the same way she was for the green spin, because I want them to match as much as possible. So I'm just going to finish threading her up. And the plan is, I've decided on what I'm going to do for the second half of the minis as well. But I might talk to you about that when I finish this plan, because this audio might not be very good. So this side's going to be completely random, and the next ply is going to be a gradient of the colours. I'm going to arrange them all just to give it some consistency. Even though random with consistency, that's what we're going for here. But yeah, I'm excited to start spinning this. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a podcast on and have some spinning time. finished bobbins for the Botanic shawl. With the colours, I spun one completely randomly, and then I spun one as sort of like gradient. I don't know how much of that one you saw, but yeah, so it's time to ply. I'm going to start with the green because that's going to be the most boring to do. So I spun them on joist, the kiwis. They're going to be plied on joist, but the only thing that's slightly different is I now have a new high-speed whirl. This was actually recommended to me by someone in the comments on the sock spin to knit video. So I thought I'd get one to try it out, and actually it's going to be great for plying because it'll just go a little bit speedier. So I've only got it on the slowest speed, but it does go super, super fast. Yeah, so it's just time to give it a go on that. My Botanic shawl is living in this pumpkin bag just because the colours go so well with it. Oh, this is such an enjoyable pattern. Here we are. Give you a bit of a close up. So I'm at the stage now where I know the pattern. It's one of those patterns where it looks more complicated than it is. There's a lot of words for what is basically a 4-row repeat, but every now and then you're putting in a new slip stitch section. So you've got a long actual pattern repeat, but basically it's just do the same thing until you put one of those in. And once you kind of do that pattern repeat a couple of times and realise that, oh, we've got a cat on the camera. We've got a cat on the camera. Yeah, once you actually do it a couple of times and realise that, then I haven't taken the pattern out again since. It's just easy to go. So now I'm just literally repeating this until it gets as big as I want. I think that it says 24 repeats in the actual pattern, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. 5 so far. But yeah, it's a bit glorious. The yarn is very, very bouncy and very soft. It's lovely. Yeah, there's a really lovely texture to the pattern. It's got these garter ridges in the contrast colour, and the dark colour is just a stockinette ridge. But then the slip stitch lines give it a sort of, I don't know, they sort of, what am I looking for? I'll think of the word at some point. I haven't got very far into it. My rows aren't very long yet. I'm probably going to have to change to a bigger needle at some point. It's just very, very enjoyable. I'm certainly not running short on yarn. I have plenty in my big bag. I'm wondering if I actually read the yarn requirements right, because I definitely have an awful lot. But I could just make this the biggest shawl in the world and keep going, because yeah, I'm not on a massive deadline for this project. Obviously, the episode will come out at some point, but it's not like previous episodes where I've been knitting them a week before it's due to come out. So, yeah, it's lovely and squishy, but it's also very light. Yeah, just lovely, very much enjoying it. Can't pick up anything else really at the minute. So according to the pattern, I've finished the main section. And I didn't realise it, but there's actually a border. Now, I do have quite a bit of the yarn left. I've only just got into the second half of the yarn that I made. So I could, if I wanted to, make this bigger. However, the rows are quite long, and I'm struggling to get through a 4-row repeat without wanting to put it down or have a nap at the moment. So I think it's time to do the border and cast it off. So this is the border section. It is basically garter stitch, but you're working a row in each colour, so you're working the same row twice, and you end up with like these. So you're getting 2 rows of knit stitches and then 2 rows of purl stitches because you're working flat. And so far, I quite like it. It's gonna give it. It's almost like a heavier edge. So this is quite light drapey fabric, and this is going to be quite dense. So I think that's going to be interesting. I've done a couple of repeats. I've nearly finished the 3rd, and I think I've got 12 to do. I might end up doing 13 just because I think odd numbers look better than even numbers. But that's my own brand of crazy. And then it's just an I-cord bind off. So I'm going to sit down and watch Obi-Wan Kenobi and get this finished today, hopefully. And that's the I-cord bound off. So it's done. A few ends to weave in. Oh, we've upset Cal. It's absolutely huge. I mean, seriously huge. When I've got it washed and blocked, we'll be able to finally sort of see it in all its glory, because even I haven't sort of unravelled it yet. But oh, it's lovely. Yeah, now I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to soak it, because over the past month or so, my landlord's been doing some long needed repairs on my house, and I have a new roof and I have a new bathroom, which has the world's smallest sink. And I have absolutely no idea. I genuinely don't think it's going to fit in the sink. So I'm going to need to find a bucket or something. are again at the end of another Spin to Knit episode, and I have my finished shawl. I honestly didn't think I was going to get it finished in time to get this episode out in June, but I managed it. It was definitely not the longest rows I've ever encountered in a Stephen West shawl, but it was getting close towards the end. And because this is such a relaxing knit, most of it is garter, especially like the border at the end, I was falling asleep. It was making me fall asleep, which is silly, but it was just happening. This has been quite a stressful month here at home. I've had builders, I've had no bathroom, I've had just chaos. We've had a cat visitor, my mum's cat has been to stay. I'll put some footage in. So in what has been a very chaotic month, having a simple knit has been great. But yes, every time I picked it up to knit on it, I was just like, I need a nap. I'm so tired. So yeah, it did feel like an achievement to actually get it off the needles, which was brilliant, and I'm really, really pleased with it. It is an autumnal knit, definitely. The colours are very autumnal. So it is definitely a autumnal knit, and it won't be getting much wear for a couple of months, but I shall very much look forward to the weather changing and being able to get this out of my wardrobe, because it is absolutely beautiful. I'm also really pleased that I decided to do the second half of the multicolours as a gradient, because I think that actually does come through in the finished shawl. Even though the first bobbin was completely random, I did the second one as a gradient, and that does show in the finished shawl. You can just sort of see it comes through there. It is huge. It is huge and it is beautiful. Yeah. I very much enjoyed it. But yeah, I genuinely couldn't be happier with my finished shawl. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So thank you once again for watching this episode of Spin to Knit. Please do subscribe if you're not already subscribed. It really does help out the channel. It helps me to be able to create more of these episodes. And leave me a comment while you're down there and let me know what you're working on at the moment. Are you spinning? Are you taking part in Tour de Fleece? Are you knitting? What are you knitting at the moment? Yeah, leave me a comment and let me know. You can also follow me on Instagram, and we do have a Discord for this series and the podcast for the channel in general, and I'll put a link to that below. And if that link has expired by the time you get to this, just drop me a line on Instagram and I'll send you a fresh one. But for now, that's all for today. I think I'll probably pick a smaller project next time. Goodbye, my friends.